Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It is May 7th, year 2025. It is the Wednesday of our Facebook Live, and it's the Wednesday right before Mother's Day weekend. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Thank you for the selfless giving of your efforts. So grateful. I know most mothers are unappreciated, so thank you so much. And I will talk about something I watched once we are done with the Q&A towards the end. Dr. Shefali actually had a conversation with her daughter who's 22. Since Patricia says her daughter was 22, it just reminded me of that conversation, but I'll give some pointers from that conversation as well. Let me start by welcoming our panel today. We have Lakshmi with a beautiful cherry blossom background. Thank you, Lakshmi. I think you're looking all the more radiant with all the radiant cherry blossom in the background, right?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Lakshmi is a session leader in our workshops, has led quite a few sessions, and she also joins us in our group meditations. So good evening, Lakshmi. And she has her own meditation on Tuesdays. So if anybody's interested, please contact Lakshmi. And then we have Patricia here, who is part of a core group of meditators. So go ahead, Patricia, ask your question. And then towards the end, I will talk about what Dr. Shefali said. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is a little short, but I guess hopefully it will help some of us too, not only me listening. Eckhart Tolle, in his teachings, talks about being in the present moment so completely that we accept totally what is without attaching any story, without judging, making it into positive or negative. That's at least my understanding. But I find myself that after years and years of decades, living in a very negative world, and that fight and fight, always worrying about something's going wrong and going in the past, being a victim, that now when I'm a little more present, I tend to overcome all that negative years into trying to find positive in every situation by seeing everything as a glass half full versus half empty. So my question would be, am I not really present? Because if I was present, I wouldn't have to, make a judgment about what is, instead of being negative, it's positive now, to finding positives, because it gives me a little more comfort doing that way than the fear that I experienced for so many years. So, thank you.
Okay, so my take on this is that, these are Eckhart's teachings. And so when you look at something, the situation is as is. That is what he tells. And we are the ones giving the charge to that situation. Like recently I lost my phone. So I am the one who is now, oh my God, I have all this data on the phone. What if I never find the phone? So I was becoming more and more aware that, okay, I'm charging this situation right now. And the situation is that I lost my phone, and not to look at it as a positive or a negative situation. It happened. I need to accept the situation as is. And, sometimes wanting to be positive in all situations is, again, having that mental story, and that is not going to serve our purpose in any way. So just become more and more aware as you are starting that mental story, because whatever the situation is as is. We are the ones who are charging. Okay, become aware. Okay, now again, am I giving it a positive charge or negative charge? Doesn't matter whether you are looking it as a half full or half empty, it is still charging the situation. So become aware of that pattern in you, and that will take you deeper into yourself. And I also whether it is Gabor Mate, I was listening to him recently, and he suddenly said, "Don't forgive anyone." And I'm like, wait, what is he saying? And yeah, and then he says, feel that anger fully, before you forgive that person. So sometimes we don't do that. And because of that, this lingering pain body is still there because we haven't felt that anger. So feel that, whatever that is there, feel that. And what Adya Shanti says is that all that negative energy that we have inherited, whether you call it pain body or negative energy, it is seeking release through you or through all of us, right? That is why we have it. It is seeking that release. So become aware of that grief or anger or whatever that emotion is. Bless it and wish it well so that it doesn't return back to you again and again and again. Because if anything is happening again and again, we haven't actually learned the lesson in the first time. That is why it keeps happening to us again and again. So become aware of the mental story that you are giving, and let go of that story. And then again, deep breathing, and the minute you know that you are giving it a charge, you're already in the present. So I think it will take you more deeper the minute you become aware of the mental chatter that is going on. So yeah, totally agree with you that sometimes it's even called toxic positivity, to spin every situation into something positive, when sometimes you just have to accept it is what it is instead of giving it a positive spin all the time. So yeah, these are my 2 cents.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Eternally grateful, always insightful guidance,
Thank
sweet
you.
and precious.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I think, Patricia, you're referring to where Eckhart Tolle says, when we experience something, right, whether it is positive, whatever experience arises in the present moment, he is saying, only look at the bare facts of the situation. Narrow it down to the bare facts of the situation. If we add anything else to the bare facts of the situation, we cause suffering. And the suffering can be both positive and negative. Even if you add something positive to the bare facts of the situation, right? So you have to give an example of what would you turn positive?
Okay, so situation just from work. We were looking for a technician because we were short, and I contacted one that I knew from the past that worked in a different company. And I was wondering if he would be interested working here, especially if I knew him, and he knew me. So initially she said, yeah, I'm actually looking, or maybe, hold on, this one. Oh, he actually contacted me out of the blue. It was, oh my God, that's amazing. I almost like jumped so happy. It's like, yes, the heavens responded to what I needed. We were looking for a licensed technician, and here he texts me, hi, Patricia, I heard that you're still in the industry. How are you? And then, I'm working as a delivery driver for FedEx, but I want to go back to the industry to work in pest control. So right away I answered, yeah, yes, come, for interview. When can you come over? So he came, he actually for interview, and then he said he's gonna follow up because his other interviews. And then he went to Florida to help his father grandfather move. And then it's like, so he wasn't following up. So I finally said, Marcus, please let us know when you're coming back because we would love to have you. And then after 2 days, he said, oh, I actually found a job that pays a little more and in New Jersey. I said, well, if you told me, we would have tried to meet it. But then, so all this positive event in the beginning, right? I was so happy. I was like, oh my God. And then now he's not working in the company. So I'm trying to see, like, I can't just leave it for some reason. My brain's like, so why did that happen? And now he doesn't really work here. So I said, oh, maybe he wasn't meant to be. Maybe he just came to my life to tell me, because he also told me what happened after I left the other company, that everything fell apart and that, I was right in so many things and they made a huge mistake. So he kind of felt that part of me because I still had like almost like unfinished business, which I was trying for so many years to forgive my boss and everything that, the story, right? I had like trauma after this work job. And so my mind's like, so maybe he was not meant to come here. So the positive thing was that he gave me peace of mind that I'm actually in a better place now. So I need to find a story attached to it. I just can't, okay, he contacted me, he interviewed, but he got a better job, move on. No, so that's just an example. It's almost everything like that, little things, or I was supposed to order something, but they didn't have it in stock, but then I got a better deal on something else. So maybe, like, I'm trying to always look at the glass half full, and I see people around me, everybody else is opposite. Everything is a problem, everything is blaming others, everything, oh my God, this is so stressful, oh my God, like, no, it's not. It's we helping people, they have issues, we are here to help. That's supposed to be a good in itself experience. You don't have to think that every other customer complaining and doing something is personally attacking you. No, just so maybe I'm trying too much, overthinking it. I don't know.
I think what I have a feeling is because you have a certain amount of presence practice, you are expecting that you have an expectation. And remember, we talked about expectations, not to have expectations. And remember, I said Carolyn Mace has this, I release all my, what does she say during the evening meditation? I release my need
reason to know why things happen
in the way that they do, and I release all my need for expectations, right? So your expectation is, because you have a presence practice, everything should flow. Everything should perfectly, like, just flow. If you contacted somebody, that somebody should get hired on. Instead of, I don't know if you remember, recently I posted one of my favorite sections of Eckhart's excerpt from A New Earth, where he talks about that he was walking through a garden or something, and there was this house that had burnt down, and somebody had put up a sign that said, all structures are unstable. And he said, looking at that sign, all structures are unstable, I realized the impermanence of form, but because the impermanence of form informs me of what is eternal in me. right? If you read that passage of Eckhart, you'll realize that. Like right before, and we'll come through, if you keep up with a New Earth reading, then you'll come up with that section.
I
So-
remember, yes.
So realize there's impermanence of form in everything. Like this moment, what we are doing, there's impermanent. It can happen or not happen.
I think maybe that you, especially knowing the Dr. Joe's the whole theory and practice behind the change, idea of change, that maybe I'm messing up something here with my missing something in my understanding between Eckhart's and Dr. Joe's, because when I do Dr. Joe's morning meditation, when he says, what are the feelings that you do not want to feel? Like you don't want to feel anger. You don't have to feel anxiety. You don't have to feel lonely. You don't have to feel jealous. And then he follows that with, what are the feelings you do want to feel? So I want to feel excited. I want to feel alive. I want to feel grateful. I want to feel, so I'm coming up with all these positive feelings, but in a sense, in order to feel the positive feelings, I need to look at things in a positive way. So
Not really. You don't get positive when he says feel greater than what your environment, how your environment is. Always feel greater than your body, greater than your environment, greater than time. He actually means the presence or the awareness that you have during meditation, bring it to everyday life. That means you're sitting in the joy of your beingness. The joy, the positivity. I mean, this is not generating, it's not like fake it till you make it kind of thing.
But I
This
still
is-
have to respond.
This is,
to
no,
events.
this is genuine joy. Even if a person refuses to accept the job offer I'm making, there's a joy in the fact that I interacted with them. And that's why I had that whole Eckhart video, right? You have to use every action like an offering to the universe, an offering to divinity, right? Selflessly give. Selflessly, I picked up the phone, I called this person. Selflessly, and there's joy in that moment. Selflessly, I talked to this person. Joy in that moment. Selflessly, I got them to come interview. Joy in that, bringing them over and interviewing. Whether they take the job or not take the job, the present moment will always determine what the action is. I don't need to add anything positive or negative to it. He may take the job, he may not take the job. Right? Whether he takes or not takes, maybe there's a better person in the future. But I don't have to make it a positive. Why did that happen? That's your story making mind. And that is exactly what Eckhart is saying. Stop. Eckhart and Byron Katie is saying, stop that story making mind. Because your mind is just regurgitating some kind of emotional feeling that you want to feel from whatever, how you're thinking. You are mistaking that feeling of joy for existence, that gratefulness is coming from how you're thinking. No, that gratitude and that joy for existence is coming from this experience of my presence.
Okay, now I get it. Right. I was trying to have first the positive thought that the story would generate the feeling, not
No,
feeling coming from just
I'm
being.
just feeling. I'm just feeling. I'm just being. Right? And that is why I said if he live unconsciously or in a state of high beta brain activity or high degree of lack of presence for 90% of our day, just 30 minutes of meditation is not sufficient. It may take an hour or two, like do an hour or two of meditation during the weekday and see how your next day is, how things unfold. Then you'll see that because of joy of presence, everything unfolds automatically. You don't have to do anything. Right, Lakshmi? You want to add something to that?
No, I completely agree with you, Poonam. There is nothing more that I can add. That I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Don't you feel, in your personal experience, that what you feel day to day as you go teach or hold your meditation session, that you are experiencing the joy of your beingness, right?
Yes. That is the shared being. It is not mine and yours. It is we are sharing that being with. Yeah, I do experience that.
And that is what is joyful. And
Yeah.
that is what,
Yeah.
those are the elevated emotions that Dr. Joe wants us to get in touch with every
Yes.
day.
Every day. Yes. Yeah. Every day connecting with nature. I always feel that joy of being. Yeah.
It's as simple as that, that I don't need to add a positive story to whatever is going on.
Mm.
And like Eckhart says, right? Bare facts of the situation. Okay, he didn't take the job, accept. We accept, change, or leave the situation, right?
Yeah.
You're right. I was trying to be a hero, and you know, if we need someone, and just instead of struggling through process and looking for, like I knew him and he was looking, it's like that would be a perfect match. And look at, you know, Patricia found someone in her connection for us technician, everybody's happy and she's a hero. But it didn't
Again,
happen.
so you're actually attaching that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was more egoic attachment towards the situation, and because of that, it didn't happen. It didn't manifest. So, yeah, not be attached to the fruit of the action. It is all not easy, Patricia. It just comes. So give yourself credit. You are doing an awesome job. We're all learning lessons through whatever is happening in our lives, in our daily lives. So yeah, right now you just became aware that you were a little more attached to the situation. So letting go of that attachment next time. Yeah.
Thank you. Even
Yeah.
though I heard one of Sadhguru's, like a quick reels, was something about, he was talking about letting go, and he said, no, don't be letting go, because then you are agreeing that there is something that you need to let go of. Why not just accept that part and it will disappear, but it's or something like, I misunderstood, but that was, yeah, something about, if we try too hard, you know, letting go of everything, we become identified with that now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you meant it in a little different way. Maybe he was just worrying, because maybe what I do, even if it's a lesson from Eckhart or even Sadhguru, I now take that literally. And I think, what was the one of Zen lessons, like when there was a teacher pointing at the moon and the student was looking at his finger instead of the moon, kind of thing. So I might still have challenge.
You're still looking at the finger.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly.
Actually, Jay Shetty, Dean Graziosi played like a short session of Jay Shetty because they're trying to do the Thrive 2025 thing that they do, a yearly event. Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I don't know if you watched the Jay Shetty video, but in there, Jay Shetty talks about the Buddha told a story that there were these, they may be Buddhist monks, they were going across a river and it was so turbulent that they had to create a raft, right? They took like banana leaves and bamboo and created a raft. And then they got across the river and safely. And because they got across the river because of the raft, they put the raft on their backs, right? But then they had to go climb. This is supposedly a story Buddha told his disciples. So they go through a forest, right? And they go through a forest, but now there are trees and plants all across, and it's a narrow pathway. And this raft is getting in the way of them walking through the forest. So the Buddha says, at some point in time, you have to put down the raft.
Whatever served you in the past to accomplish something,
Don't keep carrying it.
just
Yeah.
don't, you know.
Isn't that a
Yeah.
beautiful story?
It is a beautiful story. Beautiful story. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At some point in time, you have to just put
Yeah.
down your raft.
Yeah. We all do that without knowing. Yeah.
That we have a raft on the back and we are trying to struggle through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you know, picture yourself. You're going up a mountain and you have a raft and you're
Oh my God.
Yeah.
and your raft is the knowledge. What you're doing, Patricia, you're getting Eckhart's knowledge, teachings, and Dr. Joe's teachings, and that's your raft. And you're trying to use that knowledge in different ways, applying it in different ways, right? The main thing when you are sitting in meditation, your gauge at that moment in time, sitting in meditation, should be, how deep am I going into my presence? This meditation is my medicine. How deep am I going in my... And sometimes I even drop Dr. Joe's meditations because even his words are too much beta brain activity. I'd much rather just listen to sacred acoustics sounds because I don't want words. I just want to sit with my beingness. I want to sit or lie down with my beingness. Right, Lakshmi?
True, true. I totally agree. Totally
Yes,
agree.
Lakshmi actually practices this during her Tuesday meditation. You have that like 10
15
minutes.
15
yeah.
minutes where we just sit
and
complete
quiet.
silence. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no music, there's nothing.
Nothing. There is nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We play the Om chanting, and after it creates all the vibrations, we sit with that vibrations for 15 minutes with nothing. If you listen to your mental chatter, become aware of your mental chatter. And yeah.
So explain, Lakshmi, like when you were doing the Vipassana 10-day 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Vipassana, wasn't it the same that you sit with yourself, by yourself? You're sitting with yourself.
Yes, but whoever started Goenka, who has started, he is also guiding us. So there is inner body awareness meditation that is going on to be paying attention to each and every part of the body. So there are sometimes tapes which are playing in the background, and also his bhajans that he sung. So even those will be playing at times. So there are times where there is nothing. It's just complete silence, but it's not completely silent all through the day. So we have different kinds of guided meditations. Yeah.
Okay, so there is guidance. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that Vipassana was like pure sitting with you, yourself. You're sitting with you.
Yeah. Yeah, they first ask you to just pay attention to the breath near this upper lip, where, as you are exhaling, it is warm, and as you are inhaling, it is cold. So just feel that thought and not think about anything. And if thoughts come, they come, let them come. So, and then after a day or two, then they start telling you how to do the inner body meditations. And yeah, they do have different guided practices also. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Do you think that certain meditations, when they are guided for maybe less advanced practitioners, are helpful because I still have so many thoughts. So at least if the thoughts have to happen, I follow the guidance instead of being taken away with my chatter. So honestly, I'm not sure. Even when I was sitting for your meditation, Lakshmi, I was struggling.
Yeah, and it is okay. The thing is, you don't know that you're struggling throughout the day, and only when you're asked to sit for like few minutes without, only then you become aware, oh my God, I'm thinking of so many things that right now I have no control over. So it's good that you're becoming aware of all these things that you're thinking. So no meditation is a waste of time. No meditation, even if you are full of thoughts at that time, you just became aware of all those thoughts. So yeah, it's okay to make that body sit in one place. And that's why I actually like the idea of Muslims who practice 5 times a day. They have to close their eyes and sit in prayer. So what that does is 5 times a day, all that visual stimulation is going away for at least some time, and they are going inwards, or maybe they are asking God something else. But uh, to be to close your eyes for some time throughout, periodically, it does help, because now the visual stimulation is not there. So
I think I'll try it. For how long you can do this? For like a couple of minutes?
yeah, maybe a couple minutes. Yeah.
What do you think, Poonam? Should I try it? Try it.
Just become aware of, just close your eyes, become aware of your breath pattern, and whatever thoughts come, they come, and then just ground yourself. And you will go deeper as you are practicing. I mean, I do remember this one question that when we were attending Eckhart's question and answer session, this one divorce lawyer, she asked a question to Eckhart, saying that um, uh, I do practice meditation 3 times a day, but throughout the day, my clients who come, they are always talking negatively about their husband or wife. So one person comes and then all negative talk, and then that person goes, another person comes. So throughout the day, I'm just filled with people just, bitching over each other, right? So she says that how I'm, even though I'm practicing all these meditations, I'm mostly in a negative state, because I'm thinking about he said this, she said this, all through the day. So what Eckhart said is that you take 1 minute breaks, like say you are drinking a cup of tea, or you are walking from here to there. You take that 10 minutes time, 10 breaks a day of 1 minute, right? And in 1 minute, just be paying attention to only the tea going inside and not, oh my God, I should answer to this email, or that person said this person said this. No, just become aware of all that mind chatter, and you are staying in the now. Like even when you're walking from one place to another, now, 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 now. Let that now be your mantra. So I really appreciate that, because uh, if people don't have the time, saying that, oh, I cannot sit, then take 1 minute breaks. In that 1 minute, pay attention to your thoughts. And then again, I mean, that 1 minute, maybe you're drinking some tea, let tea drinking be your meditation, taking shower be your meditation, walking up the stairs be your meditation. So when we practice all these things throughout the day, looking at that tree, connecting with that tree, connecting with the sky, all of these can be your meditations, right?
Thank you. Yes, you're
Yeah.
correct. And I love it. I've been doing this, noticing things. Even driving my car, I see the beauty of the sky every morning, how different it is from day to day, and how precious is that moment. I do
Yeah,
that.
so sacred. Every moment is extremely sacred, and to honor it. And of course, if thoughts come, you're becoming more and more aware of your thinking pattern, right? So give yourself credit for that.
I ask this week every day. I've been asking my mind, since there is some people say that your mind will do what you tell it. So be the mind your servant, not your master. So I said, mind, show me presence. Show me how to be present in every moment. Like, go ahead, show me. I'm talking to my own mind. And
Yeah, and like wherever your thought goes, energy goes there, right? And if you're asking, take me deeper into this meditation right now, you will go deeper, little more deeper than you have gone before. So yeah, definitely that'll happen, Patricia.
so have that intention.
Have that intention, and energy goes where the intention is placed. Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Grateful, Lakshmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Looks like we have Francesca. Yeah.
Francesca, after a very, very long time.
Very
Good
long
evening.
time.
Good evening.
Hi,
Good
good
to have
Hi,
you.
Francesca.
Hi.
Yeah, I was just mentioning to Poonam because I see you answering a lot on Medical Mediums chat, and I mentioned it's something to Poonam before the group chat started, and now you are here. I'm like, oh my goodness. Did I do this? Did I invite you in my thoughts?
Francesca, I didn't.
It's highly likely synchronicity.
I did not respond to your last chat. It was pretty long, and I wanted to have some time. But you were talking about something about fear being generated. I kind of skimmed through it. You said, so you want to talk about it? That what do you detect in people these days that you're seeing that a lot of fear is being generated?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You were
okay.
talking to a couple of friends, and you were talking about how you got to the bottom of what is the root of most people's pain body, right?
Yes,
Or
and
the negativity, why there is so much negativity on earth. And
yeah.
you've come across like maybe what is the root cause of it, right? So what is it? Because the reason why I ask you is I was watching one of the spiritual teachers, Elizabeth April, who is from Canada but lives in Las Vegas, I think. I don't know if you know who Elizabeth April is,
No.
but she does remote viewing. She's known for doing remote viewing. And she was talking about that there is a different leader, prime minister now in Canada, and that he's going to create a lot of uncertainty and chaos. So is it like how people expect President Trump to create a lot of uncertainty and chaos? There's a certain population in the US that think that President Trump is going to create uncertainty and create chaos, right? Is it the same kind of leader that y'all have? And she said something about Alberta wanting to
Separate.
seize away from Canada. What is that? Can you explain all of that, please? We have like 20 minutes.
Right.
Make it short.
my
Make it
goodness.
short. Make it short. I asked you a lot.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so maybe let's focus on politics. As you know, I don't get involved in politics, but I'm an observer, of course, and from my own observation, what I'm seeing at the highest level, what's happening is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's Trump or Carney, which is the new prime minister here in Canada. What their actions, and what they're doing, because they're showing up from their egoic state of mind, which is the unevolved mind, right? And when somebody shows up from that state of mind, all the matching frequencies of mind will actually get stirred. So literally, like at the whole level, that's what's happening. Everybody's becoming stirred, right? So, people are suffering, struggling in different ways. And a lot of that struggle, yes, literally all of it, of course, at the end of the day is generated from within, because we, can choose to own our consciousness and do that inner work to come back, to that state of presence and so forth, right? And then learn how to reteach ourselves, literally how to show up from that state. However, we were also trained by our very own minds and the external structure itself to plug into external frequencies like politicians, whether it's delivered through television or whichever external, portal it's delivered through. We were taught to plug into those portals. And what happens when we're going, it's like looking for God on the outside, right? It becomes chaotic, it becomes noisy, right? Other people's view starts to penetrate our consciousness. And because we're not even aware of our own state of consciousness in relation to where we're at, it becomes noisy and confusing, and we're, hearing other people's thoughts and we think it's ours and so forth, right? And so there is a lot of noise that's happening, yes, as a result of this new prime minister. In relation to where he's at, I only did like maybe a 1 minute read of his energy yesterday. To be really honest, for the first time, I didn't look prior. And it was when he was actually speaking. And during his speech, you know what? I did notice he paused. He took a breath. At one point, his eyes were closed. And when I just witnessed him speaking, not the content that he was saying, that didn't matter. What I saw was somebody who knew how to show up from a state of presence, whatever that presence is for him, Like for me, when I go into my state of presence, like my, go to what I'm training my mind to do over and over again. When I breathe, my breath is what I used to. So I'm aware when there's, the noise of the egoic state of mind happening. And I go back to that connection that I remember through my inner body connection, which is from Eckhart Tolle's inner body awareness meditation that I learned, right? Because that's the thing about presence. Once you feel it, then you know what it feels like. So that even when you drift, which is normal human thing to happen, when you drift, it's easier to come back when you know what you're coming back to, right? Getting there, it's a whole new journey of itself. But yeah, going back to what's happening politically, I'm more likely to say that, it will be interesting to see what's going to happen. Trump is shaking everybody's ego. He's being mischievous, okay? He is in his egoic state of mind. And literally, I've been getting a kick out of watching him because he's playing. So that tells me he's evolved. He's definitely changed. I know that his energy as a whole, he's evolved, a bit more than he was in his previous election, right? And right now I could see him. It's like he's playing this game and he's just messing with everybody, every politician, and watching them jump and dance. And honestly, he's having a kick out of, he's getting a kick out of doing that, right? Because when you think about it, look at what they did to him during his presidency the first time, and even after, like for years, every single country jumped on the, pardon me for lack of a better word, but on the bandwagon of crucifying him in every way, shape, or form, right? They stripped him of everything. They tried throwing him in jail. So of course, it's the natural nature of the mind when, unfortunately, the unevolved mind, now that he's in that position of power, of course he's going to, poke a few.
Patricia, you were going to say something?
Yes, Francesca, I know that Poonam also asked you about the root of the negativity, right, and suffering on Earth. In the first question, I would love to hear that too before we run out of time. So yeah, enough with the Trump. I honestly,
Yeah, it's just noise making. Yeah. And meaning making is what we're witnessing, is the summary of
thank
that.
you.
Yeah. Oh my God. The root cause. I'm still, just so I say it, I don't know if I'll be able to say it, talk about it in 10 minutes. It is very extremely deep. So if you guys are okay with that, if I go over time, then I can.
Lawrence,
I know that
we can do a little bit today, and then we can meet again in 2 weeks. And then you can, if you can join us early next time
Okay.
and
because I
explain
know
some more.
that Poonam also wanted to say something at the end of the.
I can save it for the next time. Thank you, Patricia.
Okay.
Go ahead, Francesca.
So the core of the heart of my work that I've been, I want to say studying at this point, because it's like learning and even more learning, nonstop. Is it relates to dependent origination, which is what it's called in Buddhism, which is the cause and effect, right? Or the law of karma, right? So, underlying everything, there's a cause, a causation. And as a result of this cause, there's an effect, right? So, for example, when I feel anger or fear, well, it's because I have all of these underlying conditions, and these conditions attached to everything from the environment that I was raised in, the environment that I'm currently in, my upbringing, and all these different, factors that contributes to, that fear. And so just so everybody understand why, how this happened. And so as a result of that, I've been studying through observation. I started with my own self, of course, behavior, human behavior in relation to, well, why do we show up the way we show up? Why is there, why is somebody, creating a war, and for me, I was always curious about, like, if there's a God, why is there suffering on the planet in such horrific forms? Those are the questions I kind of ask. In fact, I was re-asking some of these questions like a week ago, because, I got to the point in my journey where I finally got to the root cause of understanding of why certain wars have happened since beginningless time. And the actual people who are behind it, why they were behind it, how they've actually managed to manipulate consciousness politically, and they've managed to manipulate the actual structure that was put in place for us as, guideposts, for lack of better words, since beginningless time, because of control, power, money, and these things, of course, became deeper. So, of course, we've looked at everybody from Putin to all the people whom have, going all the way back to the kings and queens and stuff, and everybody. But there's one set of people, I won't mention it today, that we haven't looked at because we're busy looking at everybody else. And these people, not only have they managed to manipulate consciousness in such horrific ways, like they literally still currently actively manipulate the political realms and all these different areas that actually contributes to our experiences here in this human form, in relation to, whether we're in a certain class, in relation, in a way, to keep us in our place at a certain level, because again, it's all about control, right? And when I came into the realization, I saw who they were, and not only that, the fact that there's demonic entities involved here too, right? So even I have to be cautious to some degree when I speak about this depth and what's happening in this regards. And I finally understand now why people like Napoleon Hill and many other great teachers have spoken about this actually, but didn't, 100% identify because of, unfortunately, the consequences that happens as a result of sharing certain information in this regards, because it's the darkness, right? And at the end of the day, let's say, it's a whole world of its own. These are the 6 realms, part of the 6 realms. In Buddhism, they call it 6 realms, the 6 worlds that we get rebirthed into over and over again when we become triggered, when we become angry, or if we're feeling fear, or these different, states of consciousness as a result of something, outside of us happening or something within us, right? And so, when we become triggered, we're rebirthed into these 6 worlds, which is, the hell realm, the animal realms, and so forth, right? The hungry ghost realm. I mean, we could see it happening right now, right? Everywhere. And the root cause for myself, like my own heart, this is the root cause of something that I've witnessed, that I'm witnessing as I speak to people now. Like, I'm paying attention to their energetic imprint in relation to how they show up. When I mention specific, like, oh my God, this is the root cause. And these people actually have demonic entities and stuff. Like, they have people that have become disfigured, and they were kept in cages and stuff back in the day, and all these. And it's interesting seeing, like, for me, when I witness speaking about it, it's interesting seeing how, people respond, which is fearful. Like, energetically, I could see that fear. Like, it's almost like at a deepest level, they're aware of it, and it's become like, and then, uncomfortable, and it's like, no one longer want to hear it, kind of thing, or just like they need to leave the room, kind of thing. And I remember, like, I was thinking, like, oh my goodness, is my face looking different while I'm talking about this? Or maybe, the intensity, because there's, excitement that sometimes, comes up intense for me, or the fact that when I mention who these specific people are, or these specific entities, I'll say, or that's doing these things to humanity, it comes up as a fierce energy, and, perhaps, of course, that's what they're feeling. And maybe that's why their energy shifts, right? So again, because I'm still, I say in the investigative, area, observation area of this, because I understand the system, the systems, even the systems that are involved at the very base level. Like, I understand how they interconnect, how they interpenetrate the whole 9 yards, and how they've managed to keep us. This is where my energy shifts again, right? How they've managed to keep humanity. I'm teaching myself how to show up. That's why I'm breathing and staying present. How they've managed to contribute to keeping humanity in our cycles of suffering, and not just keeping us there, but serving that suffering over and over and over again. The hypnotic rhythm of, doing the same thing over and over again, taking an action, thinking we're doing the right thing, only to find out that, that's not the case, that going, it becomes frustrating. And so, it's like we've been going in loops and loops of hell, right? And I say with little to no fear for a return, because unless somebody is really doing this inner work journey from their head to their heart, and becoming fully present, and reteaching themselves, like retraining the mind, the right mind is what they call it on the Eightfold Path, developing the right mind, right? And really to the point where you get into that state of pure awareness. If you're not in that state of awareness, when you become triggered, how are you supposed to know that, or even be aware that, oh my God, I am becoming triggered, by this political noise that's going on outside, because, I'm carrying all these energies within me, and, and then even understanding what these energies are, how they interconnect and so forth, so that enough to know that, oh my goodness, this external content just penetrated my consciousness, right? And now it's pulled me into drifting, right? Drifting away from my presence, from the essence of who I truly am. Like a person have to really be in a state of pure awareness to even be aware of when that's happening. Right? And there's so much content right now out there that's feeding our egoic state of mind in its lower formation that, my God, unless, it's like we have to build a whole new portal, the whole new earth, like Eckhart Tolle, talks about. We have to come together and create this whole new, open up. Well, it's already open. He's opened the portal. Many beautiful beings have opened up the portal, but like build it in such a way that it, runs in parallel with this current system, old structure, right? Because this new structure needs to be these evolved level of teachings, evolved conscious parenting, all of these beautiful, teaching people how to understand their energies, the 3, 6, and 9, and all of these things, how to recognize when, a trigger is here to teach us something about ourselves, right? The mirror, right? All these things, right? Because it feels like a lifetime. I mean, for me, it's been 14 years, but technically I started, the journey since I was a child. So, yeah, it takes a lifetime. And by the time you get to that state where, it's like, oh my God, now you understand what's happening, this wisdom, all these beautiful things. It's like, I'm sorry to say it this way, you're too old to like even enjoy it long enough because it's like all these other physical things come up, So it's yeah. And so even myself, I'm sitting with this right now and like, oh my goodness, so what can I do well, I'm aware of what I could do. I've been preparing and I've done a whole bunch of things that I prepared to deliver, from my book, everything and so forth. But still, I'm sitting here saying, what can I do to help dissolve this causation of suffering?
Maybe when we read the details in your book,
it'll
enlighten some people. So we'll talk about it next.
Yeah.
We're gonna log off to Sri Lakshmi shortly. We talk about it next week. Real quick, Patricia, what I was going to talk about.
Let's go.
So what I was going to talk about is Dr. Shefali, who, since Francesca mentioned conscious parenting, Dr. Shefali Tsabary actually had a conversation with her 22-year-old daughter, right? And the first 2 questions she asked is, asked her daughter, and I'll give you the YouTube audio video as well, so you can watch it yourself. So she asked her daughter, what mistakes did I make as a mother, since it's coming up to be, have you watched the video, Francesca?
I did.
That I'm talking about?
I did yesterday, yes. Because Charlotte was with me and I'm like, hey, sit down, let's watch this together.
Okay. So what she said is the first mistake that Dr. Shefali makes is when her daughter is agitated and frustrated and is asking for validation, instead of validating her daughter, she actually brings up, oh, I did all this for you. I'm always doing, you're the center of my universe. How many of us do that? That when
I'm totally guilty of doing that. Like, and then I became aware, I'm like, oh my God, when I realized that this is coming up from a space of not being seen, my parenting being crucified by everybody, especially family, they're good at crucifying your parenting. Yeah, so that's where that validation comes up from, right? But then I dissolved mine, but yeah, it was interesting.
Right? Like, even though she teaches conscious parenting, she makes the same mistakes as all of us do.
Yeah.
And then she said the second question is something around like maybe at 22 her daughter does not know what she wants to do in her life, So Dr. Shefali talks about she was 21 when she came to the US, and look at how much passion she had. You know, all of us immigrants have that passion, right? We were 21, we came from another country to this country, and then we are like, okay, I'm gonna drive, I'm gonna go do a master's, I'm gonna have like a job, education. But our children are like, la di da da da. I don't know. I'll just go ahead and do whatever. It's okay. The world is fine. Right? They're all confused by how the world is chaotic, right? To them,
It's a
there's no
different
stability.
generation. Yeah, it's different
Exactly.
generation.
They're not worried about getting a full-time job. They're not worried about getting into that corporate America kind of this thing, right? And maybe her daughter isn't that. So she says that instead of she doesn't allow her daughter to have that, and her daughter probably is well off, right? It's not like her daughter at this very moment needs to find a job or something, right? Or
No.
so, and then the second thing that I really loved, or third thing that I really loved that her daughter said is, when her daughter texts her something that maybe Dr. Shefali does not agree with, right? Dr. Shefali will write like a whole huge list of all the things that she did as a mother for her daughter. And her daughter goes, instead of validating me, it's all about you. Like,
Yeah,
it's all
even
about
that
the
I'm
mother.
guilty of in the past, you know?
Why did it become something about you? I am asking for validation. I'm texting you, and she said, like she told her mother, she told Dr. Shefali, pause, read what you wrote, because all you wrote is me, me, me. I did this, I did that, I did this for you as a mother, I did this for you as a mother. So please, as mothers, since Mother's Day is coming up, don't look for any validation from your children. Right? Get the validation from your inner self. That is where presence power is the primary purpose of our life, right? Is to actually experience this presence power. Get the love, be the vessel of love, selflessly give your love. Don't ask your children for anything, right? This is my advice for you. Enjoy whatever, whether they're here, whether they're not here, however it shows up, however Mother's Day shows up for you. I would like, if my son was not here with me, what I would do is probably go buy flowers for myself and get a good meal. I would treat myself for myself as a mother, right? I would get some good food. I would go get flowers for myself. I'll do something for myself. And somebody I think Jay Shetty posted something about Meryl Streep does that, right? Like, she buys her own flowers. Don't look for validation outside, right? And if you need something, fulfill your needs. Each of you is empowered that you can fulfill your need yourself, right? If you want flowers, somebody to buy you a box of chocolates, go buy yourself a box. Actually, Patricia and I don't even have.
Yeah, I'm not even allowed to eat chocolates anyway, so that's not on the menu over here either.
But I'm saying, if you want to go buy a box of chocolates, go buy yourself a box of chocolates. But with that, happy Mother's Day, everyone. Many blessings. Much love for you.
To all the mothers.
Mother's Day.
All the mothers. So grateful, so grateful. This was beautiful. And thank you for choosing your divinity over your humanity. Francesca, we want to hear about your remaining of your story. Okay,
Oh,
next
thank
week,
you.
next time,
Thank you.
2 weeks
Many
from now.
blessings.
Many
Okay.
blessings.
Thank you.
Bye. Much love.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.